What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the top 5 worst things about being a waiter. I may make a top 5 best things about being a waiter to follow up this video in the future, and some other stuff about being a waiter, because, you know, I'm a waiter, so I have stories and stuff. Number 5, the pay sucks. Now, I don't mean like tip-wise, I mean paycheck-wise. Your paycheck is non-existent. Restaurants are allowed to make your wage below the minimum wage, which is currently like $7.25 in general. They can pay you $2.50 an hour if they wanted, because of the average amount of tips that you're supposed to make are supposed to compensate for that. So you don't have really a paycheck. Now, sometimes if you're making like no tips at all, they'll compensate you for it. There's a whole system to that, but we won't dive in there. You also sometimes have to give part of your tips to the bartender and bussers, depending on, again, where you work, where the restaurant it is, so on and so forth. And it's called a tip share. Generally, it's not that much, but still, it's money that you have to give out, because they don't get a full paycheck. They might get paid $5 an hour, blah, blah, and then they get tip share. Your life completely depends on tips. When you're working a long time and you just kind of know what days or what, you know when you're not going to get paid very well. You know if you're going to walk out with like $20 or $100. You never really know, but then you kind of have an idea. Like weekends, great. Weekdays, why am I even here? So next time you go in to a restaurant and you see those waiters, know that they are suffering because you're cheap. Number 4, cheap tippers. This is a common complaint you'll always hear from waiters, that people are really cheap when they tip. I can understand it if you just can't afford to tip, that's perfectly fine. But it's when a table gets great service, they spend a lot of money, and then they don't tip. And it's just like, really? Really? The common misconception that the tip is already included in the bill. Not all restaurants do that. Not all restaurants have a gratuity fee. Another giant misconception is that you shouldn't tip a minimum of 10%. You should tip a minimum of 15%. Because on an $80, think about it, on an $80 check, you know, obviously that waiter's busting their ass for you. You're only going to tip them $8 rather than $12. $12 is only $4 more, and it makes a huge difference for that waiter. Waiters survive off of tips. I mean, it's literally, you go home with the money that you made that day, and that's how you pay bills, that's how you buy food, that's how you pay for porn. Wait, what? Porn? What about porn? Isn't that free porn? I should research that. Hey! And pill it to the butt. Also, another thing is people will, stiff waiters, or they won't tip them at all when the food is bad. That is not the server's fault. That is the chef's fault. That is the restaurant's fault, not the server. The server just goes and gets the food for you. Don't tip them based off of how the food is, because that is not their fault. Tip them based on how attentive they were. You know, if something's wrong, if they got it fixed, if they're apologetic, if they're really concerned. That's what you should tip them off of. Not the food sucks. Alright, if the food sucks, you should have gone to that restaurant. Or you should complain to the manager for the chefs, but the waiter didn't do anything wrong. Pretentious assholes. Number 3, shitty hours. Waiters don't have set hours. You have to go in at a certain time, and then you get what's called phased. Phased means they'll basically say, okay, well, after these tables, you can go home. However, you never really know when you're going to get phased. You can have a general idea. Like, maybe it'll be 5 hours, maybe it'll be 6 hours, but you never know. Like, you just don't know when it's going to happen, and it's really aggravating, especially when you're tired and you're just like, I just want to go home. You have to wait to get phased. Also, a lot of restaurants don't let you work more than 40 hours a week, and in order to get those 40 hours a week, you have to beg and plead to get extra shifts and extra hours, because you will not hit that 40. You generally will hit 20, 23 hours, and they make you, it's supposedly a full-time job, but it's really just like a part-time job. It's annoying. Number 2, people think it's easy. It is not easy being a waiter. I made a video earlier, a Life in the Face video about being a waiter. I talked about how you had to be like, you had to multitask, you had to manage time, you had to be able to manage your time correctly. It is a really hard and intensive job. It is really fast-paced, and there's no room for error. Especially during lunch, there's no room for error. And when you mess up, not only will the guests get mad at you, but also the managers, the other servers. It's just like everyone is blaming you because you're the messenger, you're the middleman. It's annoying. Number 1. In my opinion, probably the worst thing about being a waiter is having shitty coworkers and shitty managers. On top of like all the stress, you can get really unlucky on where you work. You might have coworkers who are really lazy or really dumb or just don't care about their job, which makes your job in turn harder. You could also get managers who A, don't know what they're doing, B, really just annoying and mean and don't listen and just they're like dictators. It's horrid. It's really horrid because you try to call them out for something because you're allowed to do that. You're like, hey, this is not right. I'm calling you out for this. And then you get in trouble. And it's just like, what the fuck is the justice here? So, I would say that's probably the worst thing. And then I have one story where I have a coworker who is the laziest piece of shit. I'm sorry, I know I cuss a lot, but holy crap. They will ask you to do things for them and then stand around. They will never help you when you need help. They just always rude and bossy and trying to push through and get their stuff first. But then when they fuck up, they blame it on the guests. And I'm just sitting here like, you moron. Ah! And you know, it then drives me crazy. So I could go on for hours complaining about my job. And not necessarily that I don't like my job, but just the environment that I work in is horrid. And sometimes I wish I worked somewhere else. I swear to God, if my job finds this video in 5 minutes, this would be hilarious. Oh my god. Oh, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was just like me ranting because today I had a really bad day at work. So I'm just like, top worst things about being a waiter, because why not? If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, show some love. Comment down below if you guys are waiters, and comment down your horror stories. We might do something with that. That'd be fun, like a collective video about horror stories. And this, ladies and gentlemen, as my girlfriend just handed me, is a lifesaver. So yeah, comment down below your horror stories, leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. This video is not sponsored by Jameson. God damn it, I wish it was.